I'm here with Salman. We wanted to talk about the Parker Whyte fight coming up next week. Wanted to break that down, strengths and weaknesses of each guy. Who do we think will be on top? What areas do you think we think both guys are good and bad at? But yeah, so Parker Whyte next week. You've already made a close prediction, but this is one where you could end up changing your mind, because it's one of those where Parker has the class but Dillian has the fire. So what have you got to say about this fight?
Well, I watched the Gloves Are Offer yesterday. It was released by Sky Sports on YouTube. I thought Dillian Whyte made some good points when he said that it was a really coward move from Joseph Parker, just going into the fight knowing he was 6-7 rounds down, knowing he wasn't going to win the fight on points, to then just bottle it and just try to go 12 rounds. Whereas when Dillian Whyte said to him that obviously I got knocked out because I went for it and you didn't, I thought he had a valid point there. So I don't know what fight Parker
yeah, but I want to counter that obviously Parker when he fought Joshua, firstly he fought the better Joshua. Joshua was a unified champion, or not unified, he was a world champion, or he was even unified champion, sorry, because he fought for the WBA against Klitschko, which was vacant. So he was a unified champion when he fought Parker, so he was fighting a much better Joshua. Secondly, Joseph Parker had a game plan, which was to outbox Anthony Joshua. But unfortunately, Joshua fought a very smart fight for him. He used his physical advantages that he had and made him neutralize Parker completely. And and the referee didn't help as well. But with Dillian Whyte, I don't really think Dillian Whyte did much against Joshua apart from land the left hook. I think he got dominated from round one and he just landed that one big shot. He said he was injured in the fight, but I think Parker showed a lot more. Joshua couldn't really land anything on him. He didn't ever look like he was going to knock him out.
But that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm trying to make is that he knew he was, regardless of the game plan, your game plan goes out the window when you're 7-8 rounds down. You're in someone's home country. The only way, and plus you have to realise Joseph Parker is supposed to be this explosive puncher as well, that if he connects on Joshua's chin, Joshua's going, and that was far from happening. But in terms of this fight, it's a very, Parker's more classy than Dillian Whyte in terms of his boxing.
But look at it from this way. You said that when Dillian Whyte fought Anthony Joshua, that he went for it, and Joseph Parker didn't go for it. Dillian Whyte only knows one way how to fight, and we saw that. He hasn't changed his game plan. He hasn't changed like that. He only fights one way. Whereas Joseph Parker, we saw in the Takam fight, could have a brawl, can get into a war. But what we saw in the Joshua fight, he can also box. Yeah, he's also very slick. But Dillian Whyte only fights one way. But
what my point I made about that is that he knew that Joshua's a bigger and stronger man. Like, fair enough, Joseph Parker's supposed to have this good chin, but the thing is, he knew that he can't just go be reckless against someone like Joshua, because he knows if Joshua does connect, he's whether he gets knocked down completely or it's a stun knockdown, he will drop. And that's why I don't think he took the risk. I think he took the risk because he knew he was afraid of being dropped himself. And that what Dillian Whyte's saying, Dillian Whyte's basically saying, the reason I got knocked out because I wasn't afraid to get knocked out. Whereas Parker, he fought safely, even though, but the thing is, in my opinion, if I was in this Parker same position, obviously it's a lot different, but if you knew you're going to lose the fight on points, why wouldn't you just get knocked out trying to win? That's what question I would ask him, but that's not the point.
Yeah, but the referee didn't help his cause. Whenever he tried to get in there, he kept breaking things up. So
yeah, obviously they talked about that on the Gloves Are Off as well. But obviously you can't blame the referee.
But I don't think you can call Parker a coward for that. I think that's the wrong.
I think that was a bit of a strong word, calling him a coward. But I can understand what you can say, that he ran in the fight. He ran, but you can't say he was a coward. Coward's a really strong word. For him to just get into the ring with a fighter, you can't.
But not that, we've seen Parker in many scraps before.
Exactly.
And he's a very tough man.
Plus, Dillian Whyte's not the best But like, I've not really seen anything in Dillian Whyte's last 3 fights where I would think that this guy's world class. This is the guy's a serious fighter. But at the end of the day,
this is Dillian Whyte's coming out fight.
Yeah, if he beats Parker, he's a real deal. It's as simple as that. If Parker loses, Parker wasn't the real deal. It's as simple as that. Parker was just overrated.
Yeah, if Parker...
But the thing is, with this fight, Parker has to look good in this fight. He has no... If he looks like... If it's a scrappy win for him, even then you can't...
Yeah, I've even said that as well. I think...
Yeah, I personally believe that Parker has to win this fight convincingly. And I think he needs to knock him out within 6-7 rounds as well. Whether that will happen, I'm not sure. But he has to put on a good display. Because if he doesn't, against Dillian Whyte, then he's just going to be called... No one's going to rate him.
If Parker doesn't put on a good performance... I've even talked about this. I think, yes, definitely he's going to be considered overrated then, because Parker's at the top level. If you look at it, who's he fought world class, probably. All right, you could see Andy Ruiz, but that was a close fight against Ruiz. And then when he fought Hughie Fury, who was another good fighter. Some people thought he lost that fight.
Yeah, personally,
in the UK.
I don't. Personally, I don't
although
know.
I thought he won it. Then he fought Joshua, and then he stunk the place out. You know, it was a very poor, average, horrible. You know, it wasn't a great fight. So Dillian Whyte, in my opinion, is a style that suits Joseph Parker. If Joseph Parker loses to Dillian Whyte, then even my opinion I rate Joseph Parker, but my opinion would change significantly. All right, fair enough. It depends on the situation.
To be honest, my opinion will change. Just even if he runs from someone like Dillian Whyte, if he just outboxes someone like Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, if he outboxes him, I ain't got nothing wrong with that as long as he looks classy doing it. Mayweather's outboxed many opponents, not necessarily excited the fans.
But the thing is, if you can't knock someone like Dillian Whyte, like in my opinion, I don't see
Dillian Whyte's got a good chin.
Yeah, he's got a good chin, but the thing is, I don't see someone like Dillian Whyte with the top level fighters. Like, I think any top level, like even Klitschko would have knocked him out, Joshua knocked him out, Wilder will knock him out. He has to Joseph Parker, if he's a serious talent, he will knock Dillian Whyte out, because you got to realize Joseph Parker's not a fighter like Tyson Fury. Joseph Parker can go for it. Joseph Parker doesn't really win on points. He's got more knockouts than he wins on points. So you got to realize that as well. He's not really that type of fighter to go for points.
I think Parker's very skillful. I've always been saying along that I think the difference between these two guys is I feel like Parker can brawl and box. I don't think Whyte can box, so he hasn't showed me anything that, you know, thus far. I did say that if Whyte pulls this off, then I'd hold my hands up after the fight.
This is what I think's gonna happen. If Parker wins, Dillian Whyte's just gonna make the excuse that he ran. That's why I know what's going to happen, because that's how it is. It's all
not if he knocks him out.
If he knocks him out, then obviously he can't. He has nothing to say. Even against Joshua, when Dillian Whyte got knocked out, he couldn't say anything because it's a
yeah. But when you say he ran or whatever, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
The fact is, people can make an excuse or he ran or whatever.
The thing is, I personally think
if Parker outboxes him clearly.
I think Dillian Whyte made an excuse saying that he wasn't fit against a Joshua fight. His shoulder went. I think that's just all tales.
Yeah. That's
just bullshit. Like, if he loses against Parker, then all of that was bullshit. Basically, he has to. Neither of these guys have to.
He did detect from that Joshua loss, because I thought there was times in that, you know, you can't know if someone's injured or not, but the fact that he came out saying, "Oh, my shoulder, my shoulder," like, I wouldn't, you know, that makes you look like a sore loser, like talking about an excuse like David A coming out talking about his toe.
Yeah, that's not.
You know, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't come out and talk about, you know, your injury against.
Certainly at that level.
You know, Parker. Parker could have had many injuries. Parker said to Dillian, "I had an elbow surgery," which he didn't really mention. You know, against Joshua. The fact is that Joseph Parker took his defeat.
Yeah, like a man. He didn't. The thing is, what I respect about Joseph Parker the most, he didn't make excuses. He just said Joshua was a better man on the night and I'll come again. Whereas Dillian Whyte, he looks to make excuses when he loses. And I don't really like people like that. But the thing is, obviously, that's beside the point. Next Saturday, we're going to see who the real deal is. But personally, on boxing ability, I give it to Parker. If it goes down to a brawl, like I don't think Dillian Whyte has the firepower to knock Parker out. But if it does happen, then I can't rate Parker. Then I just.
What do you make of Joshua saying that he feels that Whyte will knock him out because Whyte's more hungry?
I just personally think it's more of a country thing because he knows Dillian Whyte's from here. They're both from here. He's gonna obviously pick his own country.
Also, one thing I've noticed now is that Joshua wants to fight Dillian Whyte. I think Joshua knows the kind of money that they can generate from that fight.
That definitely sends out.
I think he's rooting for Dillian, not because he thinks Joseph Parker, like the way he was talking like, I'm going for Dillian, this, that. But I don't know whether Joshua actually believed that or he was just hoping that happens. Because a lot of knowledgeable people like Carl Froch, for example, they say, if I'm totally honest, Carl Froch said, I have Parker as favourite in this fight.
Anyone that knows their boxing is going to pick Parker, but obviously just on Parker's last fights, like even for example Tyson Fury's dad said Dillian Whyte because of Parker's last 2 fights. But the thing is, if he fights, even to be honest, if he fights the same fight he fought against Joshua, I think Parker will win. But it'll still be a stinking performance, but he'll win. At the end of the day, it's about getting the W.
Yeah, I think he fights the way he did against
He'll stink the place out, but he'll win the fight.
I think if he fights the way he did against Joshua, he'll win the fight. He'll win because
you got to realize that Joshua hadn't really shown that side of his boxing, that he could box. We didn't really know that he could box.
I think
we've seen that this guy.
Parker can win both ways. I think if Parker has a brawl with him, I think Parker can come out on top. He'll give Dillian more chance, but I think if he boxes him like he did with Joshua, I think he'll outbox.
The thing is, we'll see how powerful Parker is. Because if Parker can put someone like Dillian Whyte out with a KO, we know his power is legitimate. Like, for example, when Joshua knocked him out cold, it was like a cold knockout. So if Joseph Parker can knock him out cold, we know this guy's got power as well. It wasn't, obviously, he probably just didn't connect on Joshua. But the thing is, we know Dillian Whyte's got a chin. If he knocks someone like Dillian Whyte out, we know his power's serious. So I just personally think that they both have their advantages and disadvantages. I think Parker's fast. He gets in and out pretty quick. He's got good hand speed. Dillian Whyte, he doesn't really put his punches well together, but he's more... If it gets into a slugfest, it probably suits him. Because I don't see him winning on points. The only way I can see him winning... Or the thing is, I don't see him knocking him out or winning on points. If I'm going to edge one way or the other, it has to be on points for Dillian Whyte, because I don't see him knocking out Parker. I don't think he can... He's not... Like, for example, he doesn't put his punches well enough. I don't see him just knocking out Parker with one punch. It's not going to happen. Like, he said in the gloves off that, I don't need that type of power. Like, I don't need to connect you with that sort of punch to, like, daze you or knock you out. I don't believe that.
No.
Joseph Parker has a chin. He's been... I personally feel people like Takam are better than Dillian Whyte.
I think the problem is...
They couldn't rock Joseph Parker.
I think here's the problem. I think Dillian Whyte's getting a bit carried away with his last performance against Lucas Brown, who was a punching bag, who was there to really just... Like, he was basically a punching bag. He was out of weight, out of shape. And, you know, really, like, even if you look at Lucas Brown's career, he won a world title, but let's look at how he won it. He caught the guy with a lucky punch and he knocked him out. But Lucas Brown's not even at his best, isn't a world class. Just got a punch stands, big guy.
Even though Tony Bellew beat David Haye, if David Haye fought Lucas Brown, David Haye would have beaten him. David Haye would have beaten him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't really look at that win at all. That's
exactly.
That win's not any that. Yeah, it was a good performance from Dillian Whyte. But
to be fair,
Dillian Whyte struggled against Robert Helenius.
Exactly. Personally, listen, if he couldn't even get out he couldn't even get Robert Helenius out of there. It just goes to show. And Robert Helenius was a punching bag. He couldn't get him out of there. So it just goes to show more competitive.
Dillian Whyte will struggle against anybody that's a mover.
Yeah. Dillian Whyte will struggle against Tony Bellew. I'm telling you, Tony Bellew would beat Dillian Whyte. And I won't be surprised if he knocks him out as well.
Dillian Whyte's a trier. He comes in, he's going to give it his
tries.
best.
I even see him. He works really, really hard. Like, I think he trains down Loughborough as well. Like,
but I don't think in terms of boxing ability he's high up there. I think you know, the way his punches, the way he puts his punches together, it's not very fluid. But he might be one of those fighters that maybe, because of the fact that he doesn't look so pleasing to the eye.
But, do you know, there was one person that said, you know, Dillian Whyte, to be honest, when he does really step up to the occasion, so if he knows he's fighting someone like Parker, he's going to bring an extra 10% type of thing. And I agree with that, because even when he fought Joshua, like he was a bit more active. Like he wasn't like in his last fights against Hellenius, he was awful. Like he didn't even look like he was doing anything. He was just doing that. Like it was nothing really. So I think because Parker's gonna put it on him, so he's gonna either have to fight back or he's gonna get knocked out. So he knows that it's not gonna be an easy fight. He's just trying to get Parker into a slugfest. He's trying to make Parker angry to fight his way.
Let's break it down then. What do both guys need to do to win? What does Parker need to do to win?
Parker, in my opinion, Parker can wear him down and box to victory or knock him out really. But I think it'll be a breakdown job if he knocks him out. It won't be a case where he'll knock him out with one punch. I don't think he has that sort of power to just flatten him with one punch.
Here's my opinion on it. I think for what Parker needs to do to win, Parker needs to box him, just box him, frustrate him, and then at times go in there, have a scrap with him as well. Not do it too much though. Just do it when pick his shots, pick his spots.
Because you got to realize if he has a scrap like within the fight, there's a chance of Dillian Whyte getting knocked out. Knock him out if he catches him. But
not do it all the time, because Dillian Whyte, what I think Dillian Whyte needs to do to win this fight, he needs to make it an ugly fight. He needs to get Joseph Parker on the ropes where he's landing big shots. I have a brawl that gives Dillian Whyte a chance, because if this fight goes to points, to points, the chances are Joseph Parker would have outboxed Dillian Whyte. Definitely. But if this is a brawl all the way through and it goes to 12 rounds, then it's potentially a very close fight, and then it can go either way. So Dillian Whyte's got to do that, or Dillian Whyte's got to land a big shot. You got to realize
Dillian Whyte's obviously trying to get Parker angry. Even in the gloves off, he's saying stuff to make him angry to get into a slugfest. Because you got to realize Dillian Whyte knows that's the only way for him to win. Because he knows if Parker boxes him, he's not going to win. Because Parker, the thing is, it depends. We'll see in this fight. We'll see how good Dillian Whyte actually is, because this fight will test his stamina, will test his boxing skill, and test his punch resistance as well. Because he hasn't really been punched after the Joshua fight. All right, Chisora, fair enough, but after that, he's not really been in with anyone that's given him and I thought Chisora won that fight. So personally speaking, this fight's going to test his chin, going to test his durability, going to test his fitness, going to test his punch power if he's got some punch power, but we'll see. But personally, I think Parker can go 12 rounds better than Dillian Whyte. I think he's gonna have more of a time.
So in your last prediction, you said Dillian Whyte will win this fight. So do you still stick with that Dillian Whyte win it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a home fighter. I just think from the last two performances, but I wouldn't write Parker off. It's not like, for example, Joshua versus Parker. I genuinely thought Joshua would win, but this fight, I'm not. If I'm gonna pick it, it'd be 55-45 to Dillian, and that's just going on previous performances. But I won't be surprised if Joseph Parker beats him, because it can happen. Because he's not. I don't see Dillian Whyte as that he's not. I don't see him superior than Joseph Parker, but he isn't that much better. If he is better, he's not going to be. It's going to be a very close fight in my opinion. But I think Dillian Whyte, from his last two performances, will come in with the better confidence and beat him.
So I pick Joseph Parker. I think his better boxing abilities, fast hands, his faster feet, I think will be too much for Dillian Whyte. And I think over the 12 rounds, I think he'll outbox Dillian Whyte to a comfortable points decision. That's my pick. And you've heard what Salman's had for his pick. Guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what your opinion is. That's our breakdown of this fight. Guys, remember to please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.